Gumbo I'm from Texas as well, and I also enjoy gumbo.
I'm
That's
from
a good
Romania and I'm
combination.
enjoying
This
everything.
is my first, well,
Yes.
my second time on this game. I was on here last night.
Oh, nice. Well, welcome. This is our podcast, and we'll tell you all about it in just a sec here. We're just waiting for our host to join us. Where'd she go?
In your left. In your right. In our left.
Now I'm in the mood for gumbo laya. It's a very nice
I've never
fusion.
had gumbo. I've
say
never had
gumbo?
gumbo.
It's
I've
gumbo
never had
and then
jambalaya.
jambalaya. Gumbolaya
Yeah.
is just life changing.
That
Mm.
don't make sense.
I never heard
I'll
about
have to
it.
try it someday.
It sticks to your ribs, but it's good.
My rib?
Nice.
Oh no. Something like Alien versus Predator.
The way you jump in this game is so satisfying.
I put my hair up in a ponytail and
Game?
cut it off with scissors.
Yeah, the way that you like,
Yeah, I'm like
the
starting
way you bend your
over,
knees and
and
jump
then
is so
I
satisfying.
All right, I gotta take this battery out now. Why
There
don't you take
you
these
are.
batteries out?
haircutting device.
Oh,
There's a
no. Maybe
vacuum in
repair it after the show's
dumping the
over.
hair out.
You know the
Yeah,
worst
yeah,
thing?
yeah,
You have
yeah.
to take the
VR
battery
for
out
the
of your
day.
smoke detector. That's the
Yeah,
worst.
the
You
cable
have to take the
push.
battery out of your smoke detector and put it in your controller. That's really like
I got
This is
quest
just
1 and 2.
insane.
Quest 2 or quest 3.
that's really
And I
bad.
literally just took that one out. Okay, so now I have my hands
Y'all
down.
ever had to do
Oh,
that?
Yes,
It's a work in
insane.
progress.
You have
That
no
is
battery, so the
insane.
only battery you can
And
find
you're
is
wearing
your
a
smoke
cat.
detector battery.
I am. I left
Hey,
the cat. I love my cat. I love the cats on here. So
Just jump,
I was
jump
like,
around.
am I too high though? Am I too tall? Pretty good. Okay. Lovely.
What is
Hello,
here?
Johnny.
The bathroom?
Hello.
Heyo.
Ooh, I like that jacket. Very nice.
Oh, I didn't
Oh,
see
thank
that.
you.
That's true. It's a very
Just-
nice, bright jacket.
Just in time for summer.
Yeah.
I'm like, which
right.
summer is that?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's
In the
awesome.
weekend, I'm moving to the mountains. There will be snow.
Putting on that stuff, it looks like
All
somebody
right,
put pudding on
all
your
right,
face.
all right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the fantastic Virtually Live Pod Talk. I am Psycho, and please meet these fantabulous co-hosts of mine. Ma'am, please tell them your name.
I'm Faye.
And sir, what would your name be?
My name would be Draculus.
All right, that's very
you have
good.
to
I'm glad you did
X.
one.
It is on your pen.
Not
I
you.
had to
You were
check.
correct.
That's why I have it on there.
You're correct in
I
not going
forget.
with the one they gave you in the witness protection program. That's nothing there. Remember, keep that one silent. It's all right. It's all right.
Yes, Spanky is
job,
not a
good
good
job.
nickname.
What did I just say?
Oh,
So, how were your weeks, people? Johnny Draculus, how was your week?
well, it was quite eventful. It was busy, and I got to. I'm not going to do any spoilers, but I finished the three-body problem, and I absolutely loved it. It was amazing. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out.
Yep,
But
yep, yep.
warning, you're going to want to watch the whole thing in one shot. So cancel your social event. It's just really everything, sort of what we talk about here, and it's got everything. It's got geeky stuff. It's got astrophysics, romance, everything. It was great. So it's been a long time since I've seen a program I enjoyed so thoroughly.
Yeah.
So
Very,
basically, I was a
very,
couch
very
potato.
Which is good though. That's good, and that's worth it for that one. That seriously, you guys have got to watch that show. You have to. You have to. It's so amazing.
It's really good. I've seen a
Yeah.
couple of the
What about you,
episodes. Yeah.
Miss Faye? What about you with your week?
Me, I've been starting to watch Fallout. Fallout,
Oh,
the
yeah, I saw the first
TV
two
show
episodes of that.
based on the game. Well, the game, I played that with my husband a ton back when it came out, and it was just so fun. So being able to see that world being made into a TV program with that kind of a budget, oh my God, it's like a geek's dream. I used to subscribe to like the loot crate that would come to my house every month that would give me like Fallout figures and Fallout Nuka-Cola bottle caps and fridge magnets. And I was a
Wow,
geek when it came to that. I really was Fallout
that is
crazy. So
funny.
it's awesome to be watching this. And I'm taking it slow.
So
I've only seen 2 of the episodes so far, but I really love it.
And
That
I'm kind of curious about
and
that because I didn't watch that. I
mhm,
didn't play that game, but I started watching Fallout, and
it's a
I
good
mean,
What the?
story.
Why is my controller doing that?
but I kind of was a little disappointed in it's so slow to get into it. And it's like with
Oh.
being the budget they have, like you mentioned, I just kind of assumed there'd be something a little more to it at the beginning, and I'm hoping it gets more. It grabs me more
Oh, I
as it
think
goes.
it will. I think eventually it will. I've only seen 2 episodes of it myself, but yeah, I'm loving it so far. There's that,
What else
and
you got?
I started my reading of Ready Player 2 now here in Banter,
Oh,
so I do that on Monday mornings, and it's really funny because
oh.
I have this uh, problem slash gift that I forget everything I read or watch, like TV shows and movies, within like 6 months or maybe a year. So I get to
Hmm.
re-experience it again. And
I
yeah,
do
I
that too.
read Ready Player 2 earlier this year and I already forgot it. So I'm going through it with them, experiencing the excitement.
Oh,
And it's amazing. Talk about the headset that they talk about in that book. Oh my God.
is it
It's a
different?
neural interface. It's a neural interface. I'm just saying,
Ooh.
it's just like we've been talking about, like here in the pod talk about Elon Musk's neural brain interface. Man,
Oh.
that would change the world. That would change the world.
See,
Yeah.
that original book, it's funny because what got me into that was my high school sweetheart. He basically got in touch with me and he's like, "Oh my God," and all our friends, he's like, "You guys, you got to read this book. You got to read this book and everything." And he was like, "Oh, you're gonna love it, all the '80s stuff." I'm like, "Oh, sweet." And I read it and I was like enamored with it, right? And
Hmm.
and then the movie came out and I loved the movie. I don't know why. I was still hoping there'd be something a little more to the movie. It was brilliant, don't get me wrong,
Yeah,
but I
it
was just
was
looking for
missing
certain
things.
details. Yeah, but
Yeah,
it was really
Yeah.
fun. It was really. Are they gonna make a second movie? I keep
they
hearing
are.
that they might.
It's
They
been
are for sure?
announced. It's been announced. So, yeah, pretty soon
Ooh.
you'll get to see it in a movie form. Yep.
Now, the one you're reading
So,
right now, you said Monday mornings.
uh-huh.
Is that on the Discord, or where can I listen to what I've missed from what you've read
Yeah, I need
already?
to
Oh,
catch
if you
up.
want to see what you've missed, just go into any of our
Listen to
storytime
you.
events. Yeah, yeah,
I want to
to
listen.
listen. All you have to do is
Okay.
go into any of our storytime events here in Banter in the events list here, any of those spaces. And the very first thing that you see when you look to the left is a URL that will take you to a Discord where you can listen to all of the past readings of Ready Player 1 and Ready Player 2, and then other stories that other people have read here in Banter
Okay.
and uploaded as well.
Good.
So they're
Oh,
all
good,
there.
good.
Hmm.
I definitely want to see that. Very, very
Yep,
nice.
the
Okay.
storytime Discord.
All right. Well, I hope everyone has had a wonderful week. Oh, look, we already have a question. Trey, what's up?
I got a question. So, how many chapters have you read so far?
Wait, let me put you on a megaphone because we can't hear you. Say that again.
Uh, I say, how many chapters have you read so far?
Oh, me? We've only read the forward and the initial chapter. So we've just
Okay,
started today. First day.
okay,
Yep.
okay, okay. So I'm not that far behind. Okay, thank you.
No, you're welcome. No trouble.
Nice. You can catch up on that. Very nice.
It's a cool
Well, all
story.
right,
It's a really cool story.
folks. Speaking of
Got the
futuristic
big
and all that
man.
stuff, thought we'd start off with a couple of things here. And one thing, this is kind of leading into a discussion about job stuff too, about employment stuff, but also, of course, I can't stand it if I'm not like somehow like immersed in robots. I'm just so freaking obsessed with them. Oh my God, I love them. If I could have Amica, if I could get like an interview with Amica and Sophia, like sit down and have lunch with them or
Oh
coffee
my
or
gosh.
motor oil,
That'd be
whatever they need.
amazing.
I would die because I'm like they're such a fangirl. I just would kill to meet them, and many others, of course. But guys, so here's the thing: Carnegie Mellon University, which obviously is way up there when it comes to tech and innovation. They're incredible. They developed something called H2O, which is human to humanoid. That's what it stands for, and it is basically kind of a framework that it allows a humanoid robot, a full size robot, to be teleoperated by a human in real time, and it only uses a camera. So one of those RGB red, green, blue. The camera itself, Johnny, maybe you can expand on what it does, but I know it helps the robot kind of differentiate depth and everything like that. What's specific about an RGB camera, Johnny? Are you familiar with that versus
Well,
any other camera?
RGB is the
yes,
true color.
Thank you.
yeah, you
What
get
was
to
that, Johnny?
colorize things, and
Red,
basically, when
green,
you
and
look at
yellow.
Okay, Andre, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Let me just let him tell us, and then I'll ask you
Sorry,
what you have to
sorry.
say about that.
Okay,
Thank you.
sorry,
I'd love your
sorry, sorry.
uh,
contribution.
as
Okay, go ahead.
Mhm.
Andrea was saying, yes, it's typically it's a lot of this robotic stuff is operated through QR, like it's similar to a QR code. It's an easy
Mhm.
way for them to communicate. Now, when you look at QR codes, most of the time it's only two colors. It's very binary, one white or black, right? Or
Hmm.
sometimes you can create different colors. So, what's nice about the colors is it adds almost another dimension for these robots to understand. Also, certain tasks that they're given can be color coded for ease of use and just better input and things like that. And it helps with depth perception as well.
Hmm.
Okay, okay. Andre, have you worked with that kind of camera in something or?
Now I know what is LGBT. That's all.
Hold on. Let me come on over here so I can give you a megaphone. Come up to the front a little bit because we can't hear you unless I do. Okay, there we go.
No, I'm okay. I was just talking for nothing. Sorry.
Oh, no, no,
Oh,
that's
okay.
okay.
No
But I thought you might
troubles.
have worked with one or something.
I
That's
do that all the
Hmm.
No, no,
time,
no,
so
no, no. I
no
never.
no worries
oh,
there.
okay, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, Johnny, I
Yeah,
have I thought it
I
was
don't
very
think it's
intriguing.
someone here working with that. So I'm sorry. I'm
Oh,
not.
okay, no, that's no problem. Okay, great. Um, but what they have found is now when they were talking about teleoperating, and I want to talk afterwards because this reminds me of Carbon Origins about with the food delivery, and
Mhm.
we want to talk about that. But
Yeah.
it kind of brought that to mind too. And then it also brought to mind Ripley and the big, get away from her, you bitch! I just couldn't. I just, I just
Wait,
absolutely
what's
adore that.
that?
Did it from
Ripley?
Aliens?
Alien One.
What? Aliens? I'm sorry, you do
Oh,
not.
sorry, Aliens.
Are you kidding me? You don't get that reference?
I haven't seen
We can never be
it. I
friends
haven't
again. Oh
seen
my
it.
god,
I
do not even
haven't
talk to me
seen
right now.
it.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Okay.
Oh, I'm gonna. Okay, I can't. Oh my god. Okay, I gotta stop shaking. Okay, so as
It's a
we go
horror
on,
movie. I don't watch horror
oh, it
movies.
is not. Okay, stop it. No, it is not. Oh my god, it's sci-fi and it's brilliant. And the oh my god, I can't even
It's
talk to you right now.
Geiger
Okay,
too.
I know, right? But it's Ripley and Vasquez, and they kick so much. Never mind. All right. So, Vasquez's rifle, riesgo siempre vive. I mean, I know all the details of this. Okay. And yes, I did have an action
Get
figure.
a load of
Moving
her.
on. So, so the thing about this guy, which is really interesting, is there are tasks that are too complex for robots to perform independently, and they don't have to program them this way. So this is kind of a real nice way that they achieve like a whole body control of these massive humanoids, and
Hmm.
it's it replicates our movement and everything. And they use their it's called reinforced learning what they use, and it's kind of a machine learning technique and what it does is, you know how as humans, we have like a try it and see how it works out, like a trial and error approach to things. It kind of mimics that in a way for the robot. And so there's kind of like a reward punishment type of aspect to it. And the robot can learn from the feedback from every action they perform. And this is crazy. They can self discover the best paths to achieve their desired outcome. So they can,
Oh.
again, figuring things out more so on their own so it doesn't require, a label to be involved with like a, direct algorithm or anything. So it's super cool. And the neat thing about this is by allowing this to work, they can use this for so many things. I mean, if you're looking at robots that can go into dangerous locations that humans can't go into, robots that can go, if there's a hostage situation, if there is a fire or if there's a chemical explosion or something happens like that. It's amazing. And this is really fantastic. And this is so much fun when you get on there and check out the YouTube and you just see like they have this one guy standing there and he just kind of quickly kicks both his feet forward and back and then they show the robot that he's connected to who does the same thing and there are a ball in front of each foot so the robot's like kicking two balls. It's kind of interesting to see how it works. um, but this is a so they can see the the results of what the robot is seeing and everything like that, and then
Mhm.
they do things like sidestepping and different walking, and they want to get it to where they can somehow utilize the lower extremities with them so they can start dancing and they can start doing some really
Wow.
cool things like that. So what's neat about it is the fact that being able to bring this stuff forward there now, and why we're talking about this too is that we're talking about the idea of the robots taking our jobs, right?
Mm.
So here is a classic situation of what they're trying to say, which is that listen, this robot is not taking a person's job, it's requiring a person to operate this robot. So
Right.
in it, so they still have their
Mm.
job, but there's just a little difference about it. And they actually did a little bit of a like a survey, sort of like a 2022. They did a study, and they were trying to figure out how people felt about using teleoperated robots to perform labor jobs and things like that. And they found that many people were open to remote work operating the robot and taking lower pay than to have to be on site working, which was
Hmm.
interesting. Because I would be down for that. My God, yes, that'd be so amazing, right? I mean,
Yeah.
think of all the things you would have to work out, daycare and caregiving, anything like that. You'd be able to be home and handle that. I mean, it's amazing. So, what do you guys, Johnny? What is your thought on that? What are you thinking?
My thought is it's a very exciting space that's kind of coming out, and you brought up a really good point with sort of dangerous environments, or it could be anything, right? It could be a hazmat situation that would be exactly kind of like what you described, the exosuit or whatever, except
Mm-hmm.
the person is not in it, and you can actually you know navigate hazardous tasks and get
Yeah.
minimum risk, and also even the mundane. But what I think about this is I think this is a very cool way, and what if we're doing something in space and maybe there's just one robot that's there and you can control that robot to fix whatever's going wrong with the space station, and maybe you can have maybe these astronauts that go up there don't have to be good at everything, right? Maybe it's something that they can do like that, or maybe they're already doing this, but it's very exciting because it almost gives you the sense that you're there, but you're operating this machine and you're getting a task done, and it's nice. I think it's a very exciting space, and eventually, and maybe with these robots, there could be some kind of check and balance, and somebody can, the company that runs them or an outside entity can log into these robots and make sure that they're doing
Hmm. That's
QCing
an
their
idea.
jobs and things like that. So
Oh
it's an
yeah.
exciting space, and I think it's to be seen what's going to be developed with this.
That's an interesting aspect I hadn't thought of. And it gives a completely different terminology to micromanaging. Get it? Microtech.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. My
Yay.
wittiness will not be here all the
Ba-dum.
week. I may be, but now, Faye, what about you? What are your thoughts on all this?
Oh, I just think it's awesome because robots are starting to show up in all sorts of different teleoperating circumstances. There's the ability to have a surgeon perform uh, a really intricate, terrible surgery that needs to be done in an emergency pinch, and if they are across the country, they can access one of
Hmm.
these robots and perform the surgery remotely, be able to actually
Right.
control it and things like that. And
That's
any kind
incredible.
of dangerous jobs, anything
Hmm.
that would require the, to actually have a dangerous aspect to the job, a robot could be teleoperated to do the same thing. It's pretty awesome.
Well, it reminded
Yeah.
me of when I was saying with the carbon orange. It reminded me of the whole
Yes.
the food delivery,
Uh huh.
right? The remote food
Food
delivery
delivery.
that Carbon's doing. Yeah,
Yep.
and and then I also noticed that with Carbon, something about they're starting to remote operate like construction machines.
Hmm.
Is
Yeah,
that true?
they were doing for construction, like bulldozing and also planting trees and different things like that. Anything
Wow,
that was like big heavy machinery is what they were working on.
that's
Hmm.
amazing. Wow, wow, wow. What
Yeah.
about you guys? Okay, now Trey, you got something to add to that? What's
Okay.
going on there? Hmm.
Okay, I'm kind of confused about. Can you hear me? I'm on megaphone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put you
Uh-huh.
on
Yeah,
Okay.
you
microphone.
are okay.
Hmm.
Okay. 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 What is a blue collar worker? What is that?
This worker
Well,
could do a better job than
a
I don't
blue
know.
collar worker, there's a difference. So white collar workers are basically the people that they consider like in management or like CEOs or people that run companies and things like that, or upper management. Blue
Oh.
collar workers are kind of like what you would consider the middle America in a way. They're the people that go and do
Engineer,
like
something like that.
secretaries or teachers or the standard everyday jobs people would do. That's what they consider the blue collar workers.
Oh. Okay.
And it
Thank you.
comes
I
from the
just.
idea
Hmm.
of the white shirt, with the tie, the white shirt with the collar
Yeah.
on the dress shirts.
Yeah.
That's kind of where that stems from. Yeah.
Oh. Okay. 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 I just wanted to get an understanding. Thank you.
Sure, of course. Yeah, yeah, of course. Anyone else have
What
any
the
thoughts
fuck?
they wanted to share on this? I mean, how do you guys feel about this? If you're working, let's say you're working in Amazon, right? Which we'll touch on some with Amazon. I mean, because Amazon is employing, oh my God, they have the largest right now amount of humanoid robots that are in there, and they're using robotics of different kinds for things there. How would you feel if you're like this one human in an assembly room with a bunch of robots? I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a weird feeling. Do you guys have any thoughts on any of that? Anybody? Ark? What are you thinking?
Well, I mean, we take for granted that, having robots in our lives is not some kind of new thing. I mean, these are humanoid robots to be sure, but I
Mhm.
mean, like my entire life, I've had multiple robots in my house. I mean, a washer machine is a robot, a dishwasher is, a
Mhm.
dryer
Mhm.
is, and I can go on a list of
True.
things that we take for granted that have existed, but they've just been ubiquitous, so we don't even think about them. We're kind of blind to the amount of robots we've kind of always grown up with, and I'm not saying that this isn't, there isn't something for, another, you know, order of
Level.
magnitude past that. To be sure, there is, but
Mhm.
I mean, you guys kind of already touched on this. I mean, I don't see this necessarily in the long run taking people's jobs, regardless if there's an operator or not, because historically everyone has always claimed, like this is going to be the next thing that takes people's jobs away, and in the short term it does. Even the word sabot, sabotage came from the wooden shoes
Sabotage?
called sabot. Yeah,
Mm.
these shoes
Yeah.
called sabot back in the days. I think it's going to be much the same. That eventually an equilibrium will be found and things will kind of end up averaging out. In the short term, it's going
Mhm.
to some people will lose jobs, some people will be operators, but
Mhm.
I mean, it's kind of
Yeah.
cool, but I mean, I see it as a net gain in the long run.
And
Okay, yeah, no, that's
what
I
a
can see
great
that. That's definitely.
Nice.
point. And,
Yeah.
and don't forget, right, the mundane too. Like, what if this company makes a few of these robots, like maybe a couple of hundred, and people can volunteer to operate that robot in the ocean and clean up the ocean, right? I realize it's very
Yeah.
Mm.
rainbows and unicorns, but there's all
But it could
kinds of
happen.
ways that this technology could work. And I know I'd probably go in there for an hour or so and say, hey, all right, well, let me do something cool and from the comfort of my home that affects the planet and all that kind of stuff adds up. So it's not just work, there's other things we
That's
can do
true.
with it.
Mhm.
And
That's
I
a
know there
huge
are
idea.
automated. I've already know there's automated cleanup under the ocean. I've seen some automated robots that they utilize in there for that kind of stuff too, which is very interesting.
Oh.
Um, and you know what, that brings up a point that's true, because I was working with a company one time in city that basically we took one day and everybody, we went out and we donated our time to a company, a group that planted trees all over the city. So we spent the entire day planting trees all over the city, which was absolutely amazing. It was just a wonderful
That's cool.
experience. So you're
And,
right. I mean, they could
think
have
about
something like that.
this,
Mhm.
right? Like, come on, pressure washer simulator. Like, why can't we have a
I've heard of
robot to clean up the gum on the sidewalk? It's like, let's try and solve some of these problems here.
I've heard about everybody tells me that game is so calming. I'm like, really? So I have to check that out. I keep hearing about that game. Um, well, so let's move into let's talk about a few things with regard to layoffs and things, because listen, we know there were some big layoffs before, right? I mean, in 2022 was the massive thing when it really
Mm.
hit, and then they went on into 2023 and things. In so far in 24, they're kind of spearheaded by Pixar, Google, Microsoft, some of the big companies, TikTok, all that kind of stuff. It has slowed down. It was a little different, of course. There's some different numbers and everything like that. But for example, the final total number of layoffs for the 2023 ended up being 262,735, which
Whoa.
is crazy. Tech layoffs are, of course, like they were 59% higher last year in 23 than they were in 2022. And the ones that are happening here, so let me give you a few examples. So in 2023, there were 89,554 tech layoffs. So far this year in January, there were 19,350. So big drop in that. February of last year, 40,021 were laid off, whereas February here, 15,589. And in March, 37,823 last year, and in March now 7,322. And that's not to minimize it. I mean, the numbers are lower, but that doesn't
Mhm.
minimize it, because it doesn't minimize what happens to these people who are laid off. Even though there are lower numbers, there are people whose lives are upended. and many of them it just destroys their lives and there are horrible things happening. So but the idea is that there are just so many of these companies that are looking to be more efficient, so to speak. They call it efficiency as opposed to to kind of bringing in the having the more quality workers and be more robust with them and train them, which we're going to talk about in a second too. um, as a matter of fact, if we go, actually right now, if we can go to that next article, so this is what's kind of intriguing. Um, there are basically what they're saying is that what's happening now is like a talent stagnation. Okay, before bosses were laying off people, okay, we got to do this to cut costs and do this, but they're realizing that they need these talented workers, they need these workers that have specific skills and things like that. And what they have found was that companies are more apt and willing to want to hire from outside and not train the workers they currently have. And the University of Phoenix Career Institute did a study thing, a little a study. They found that 5,000 U.S. workers that were surveyed said that they feel very easily replaceable at their jobs. Right? About two-thirds of them said that the company does not offer chances to climb the ladder. About a third of
Mm.
them said that they felt that the leadership just doesn't recognize their contributions. And they feel very disempowered, and that also leads to lower productivity in their job because they're not feeling so good about that. And what they have found is that there's kind of a huge disconnect between how companies view the workers and how the workers view themselves. So you look at the companies, and they say almost half of the 500 plus bosses that were surveyed claim that they haven't been able to find talented new hires in the past year. And there's a huge dearth of qualified applicants, right? But then
Mhm.
people are saying, listen, provide opportunities for your existing workforce, right? Advance them in an internal sense. And then help develop them, help to train them because they're going to be loyal, they're going to feel better about themselves, they're going to learn new skills, and that's going to end up saving them a heck of a lot of money. Because so many of these, there's a huge, there can be a huge skill gap, right? And that's just because people are used to being in their jobs they're in and they're not often trained for things. But when companies are saying, okay, listen, we're going to move to something else, so you got to, there's going to be a new situation here. I'm sorry, you're not qualified. We're going to bring in some qualified people. Well, these workers are saying, give us a chance, right? And they said
Mhm.
that for example, the U.S. I'm sorry, companies in this country, that if they nurture their existing talent rather than bringing people from the outside, they can save $1.35 trillion dollars cumulatively in savings.
Wow.
And that is a lot more than it costs to train your workers, right?
Mhm.
So, what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah. That it
Well,
should be the
I
direction
guess
that they go. Mhm.
yeah, I agree with that. And this is a management problem, obviously, but it's kind of one of these things where a lot of companies forget the amount of effort, both and money, the cost. And then when I say cost, it's like a monetary and also like almost a mental cost from the people that have to train these new employees. So there's an investment on all fronts when a new employee starts,
Mhm.
and both the employee and the employer are entering in this relationship expecting that it become a fruitful and productive one. Now, when you say, okay, well, somebody can, it depends on the job function too, right? So there's some functions and there's some jobs where it's like, hey, you just have to do this and that's it. And there's not a whole lot of innovation. But if you're good at it, then that's great. But in that case, then you need to have the work life balance. So things, if it's going to be a job
Mhm.
like that, it has to be, you know, you can show up, you do your job, and you go home, and that's fine. But then it's when you're trying to be in a position where you have to innovate, well, that's when you're looking for the, you know, those qualified. It's not just that you're qualified, it's do you know exactly how to think outside of the box, but more importantly, are you working at a place that's going to listen to you when you're thinking outside of the box?
Mhm.
And that's kind of like the happiness on the employee side. It's like, hey, do I feel like, do I have a sense of ownership in what I'm doing here? Do I feel like my innovations are being listened and my solutions? And sometimes it's not always the case. So it's just, there's so many factors here. But I agree with this. Like, there's probably a great amount of people that are part of this stagnation, and we need
Mhm.
to look at these companies need to look at a whole. how they're kind of managing these people. Because yes, I understand bringing someone fresh to a position. It's great, you get new eyes on it, but there's something to be said for all the years of experience some people have
Yep.
on the
Yes.
basic understanding of how this business works, or any
Exactly.
business, right? So
Mhm.
that, and then which of those people that have been there can have the means to provide meaningful solutions, and that's the
Mhm.
Mhm.
mismanagement of employees. So if they're not
Wow,
doing
well
it right.
said. Yeah,
It's very true.
100%. That's very true.
Yeah.
Have you guys, does anyone have any thoughts out there? Have any of you ever been a victim of that situation? D, what about you? What are your thoughts? Are you muted, hon?
Sorry. No,
There you go.
no.
That's okay.
I almost dropped my microphone. I'm sitting here trying to
Oh,
make myself a sandwich,
I'm sorry.
and
I'm the
listening
only
to
one
you
that gets to
guys.
drop a mic here. That's all I'm saying. All right. Okay.
No, I don't know if this goes with what you're talking about. I think it does, but I'm not sure. I remember when I was working at Taco Bell,
Mhm.
and I was actually hired for like a crew, like where basically you mind the counter, you clean up and stuff like that. But my job was not to train people, but I was put in a situation where I was training someone at one point because they didn't want to hire anyone to train the new people. So
Yep.
I
Mm.
didn't get paid for that either. I didn't get paid extra for training
Mhm.
as well. So
Mhm.
I don't know if that goes with what you were saying,
Yeah.
but
No,
like,
yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
but yeah, I did not like that. That was very bad. But
Oh,
I
that's
at the
messed up.
same time, I love
I
teaching
agree.
people stuff. So I mean, I
Mhm.
don't know.
Mhm.
So
Well, it's
yeah,
But
I know
you
but
many
you
people that
left.
have had that happen to them, who have had to train people only to
Oh
find out
yeah, I've
later
had
that
that
it's their
happen.
replacements.
Yeah.
I mean, that has happened to
yeah.
Oh
numerous people we know.
gosh.
Oh
Has
yeah.
anyone
Oh
else dealt
yeah.
with anything like that? If you have, jump up and down if you have a thought that
Oh
you want to
yeah. I
share on that.
have.
Because oh
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Trey, why don't we hear you and then let's hear Ark. Okay, Trey, what are you
Oh no,
thinking?
no, I was just saying I had a similar a situation happen to me before too. I was working at
Uh-huh.
a warehouse. They didn't want to go out their way and actually find a trainer to train. I've been there for like a couple of years, and so I
Mhm.
kind of knew the job very well. And so they just automatically volunteer me to train this person or these group of people and not want
Mm.
to pay me. So I just wanted to say
Yep.
I can
Mm.
relate to that. Yeah,
Oh yeah, 100%,
yeah,
100%. Ark, what are
yeah.
your thoughts on that?
What I've experienced in my line of work, I work in communications, is something that's vaguely adjacent to this, but I mean, it still connects with it in as much as
Mhm.
where we've got we've had a progressive brain drain in my company, over at least in the market I work in, where
Mhm.
you remember the game telephone in school where one person, starts, the
Yeah.
conversation by the time you get to
Oh
the end of the
yeah.
class, the story's completely different in every way, right?
Yes.
I
Mhm.
mean, it's
Yes.
very much,
I
we've
have
kind of
friends like
do that
that.
and we've had
Yeah.
that in the company where one person trained one guy who trained another guy who kind of trained another guy, and I mean the smartest people have gone on to other
Mhm.
companies and whatever, and we've had a decay. I've worked for my market for like 17 years now, so I mean I'm one of these senior guys, and something that's just been brought up again and again and again and again is just there hasn't been a reset of the knowledge base, and I don't know if this is just a pervasive issue
Yeah.
in like most industries, but
Hmm.
there's just this steady decay of like and people like start doing things and assuming this is the practice. Well, this is why we do this. A lot of people don't even understand fundamental theories in a lot of jobs. They're just trained like if A happens, do B, and then if B happens, do C. But they don't understand the proverbial alphabet. They just know do A, B, and C. They don't understand how A
Mhm.
connects to B, and don't understand the
Yep.
equivalent of consonants and vowels. Not
Yep.
exactly the same thing going on here, but I mean
No,
it's
but it's
adjacent
an
to the
offshoot
same
of that.
thing.
Yeah. It
Mhm.
is. It really is. Yeah, oh, I know I've seen so many of those types of things happening. Anyone else have any thoughts on that? Because
Uh,
I
I,
find it
I
interesting.
actually have a.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just say I totally agree with that. And here's the thing, like, and like what Divine was saying, y- yes, she's not getting paid to do the training, but what's toxic is the company puts her in the position to train somebody and doesn't pay anything. That's bad. We all know that, right? But the
Yeah.
worst part is like if she doesn't do that, well, guess what? She's gonna have to work harder if she doesn't train that person right. And that's the
Mhm.
really bad part about it is it almost forces her to either A, work harder or train this person for free. And the difference between a great company and a decent company is in a great company, like we were kind of saying, is like, hey, can you say, hey, I've been doing this for years, I have a lot of experience, I think this would work better. A great
Mhm.
company will go, you know what, let's try that. Or, hey, we tried that before. Or, hey, this is why that wouldn't work. But when the
Mhm.
employees don't even have the will, or say, you know what, why bother, then that's not a great company. So those are just
Right.
kind of my
Yeah.
thoughts on that.
No, that's very true. That's very true. And it's interesting when you listen to some of these people with these companies. For example, like we're going to talk about next with Jeff Bezos, right? Um, Amazon. So he was saying in an interview that people have very high standards for their work-life balance. And he says if you enjoy half of it, that is considered a home run, which okay. So Amazon's got more than 1.5 million employees worldwide, right? Always been
Mhm.
controversial, right? Because basically, oh, I can't use the bathroom. I have to go in a bottle. Oh, they're not paying me. They're keeping me here working overtime and not paying me. So many complaints that we've heard. And I will say that one of my nieces did work temporarily in a warehouse, and it was in an Amazon warehouse. And wow, they had one bathroom in this massive warehouse that it took you like even 5 minutes just to get across the warehouse to it. And that's if you were like breaking a run. And
Mm.
she said it was awful. They did not have what they needed for the employees. They had way too many employees and not enough facilities. And the thing about it, I mean, she couldn't stay there because there's a lot of other stuff too. So with that said, you know, for the thing about this guy, they're the world's second largest employer. And according to Amazon, they're saying their average pay for customer fulfillment roles is around $20.50 an hour. So if you're working like 40 hours a week, it comes an average of $42,640 a year, right? But in
Mhm.
2023, the average salary in the United States was 59,384. And
Mm.
that, by the way, is also considered that's not even middle
Oh, sorry.
class. Even that 59,000 is not considered middle class. So basically what they're saying is that the employees were paid well below the market rate, right? And he's saying, I mean, they've got so many people there, right? And if you think humans spend on average about 90,000 hours working throughout their lives, right? If you were to work continuously, it would be 10 years of continuous work. So it's about they say
Like three
15%.
different kinds of chicken.
What?
Oh, whoops.
I'll take
Sorry, I
whatever.
thought I
I'll
was
just take
muted. I
whatever
thought
chicken
I
you
was
have.
muted. I was telling him what kind of sandwich I had because he messaged me in Discord.
Oh,
Johnny did. He's like, "What kind of
What?
I'm
sandwich do
sorry.
you got?" I'm like, "Are you
What the
serious?"
I'm
hell?
sorry.
Johnny, you are called out on this. Are you kidding me right now?
Oh
You're
my dear.
talking about the sandwich when you are supposed to be present here with
Sorry,
us.
Johnny.
So,
Thought I
Johnny,
was
are you
muted.
Oh,
constantly going over menu choices every show? I mean, is this something? Should we maybe do
I mean,
do a segment on the
I
different
had a
restaurants
burning
and
desire.
condiments available? Oh my
I like
God!
sandwich. I'm like, oh, I like, okay, three types of chicken. This sounds good. Okay, sorry. All right,
Wow!
I skipped lunch, so I'm getting a
Oh my.
little.
Sorry
But
about that, y'all.
I agree with this. Listen, does this count sleep or no with these Bezos
Oh, oh,
hours?
don't even try to jump into
Oh,
the different topic. You are so busted. You are beyond busted, and you're busted on the live stream. So
Oh
everybody in the
man.
oh,
world has actually busted you right now. Oh my God.
well,
Oh God,
looks like
sorry.
no
Oh
sandwich.
Lord.
Looks like some humble pie instead for me.
Oh God. Okay, and oh wow. All right. So so I guess
Thought I
Johnny
would
is a good
contribute.
example of this here in our situation as the hosts here because Bezos is saying that there people aren't going to enjoy everything about their jobs all the time. So there's no such thing as a perfect job. And he's trying to say that like you could be the Supreme Court justice or hey, a host of a virtually live podcast. And there's still going to be pieces of your job you don't like. And the issue is that most people don't get anywhere close to even enjoying 50% of their work, right? So he's saying
Mm.
if you can get to at least 50% of enjoyment in your job, you're doing better than everyone else is. And it's just there are plenty of aspects of life that people aren't going to like is kind of what he says. He's kind of basically saying, oh wow wow, suck it up, buttercup. So So here's my thought.
Well,
Go well. Actually, Johnny, why don't you? Since you're actually you're engaged with us right now, so let me grab you for the moment while you're
yes,
here. And
yes.
why
Thank
don't you
you.
go ahead and tell us what you're thinking?
I think this is, and the sad part of it is until it's realized that happy people work a little bit better, and we kind of went through this with like right when Google started becoming big, and then you could like sit in these like big poofy beanbag
Ah,
chairs at work and all that.
play
Like this
games.
is like the
Yeah.
opposite. And when Bezos realizes this, I think he's going to see that hey, we want to keep people happy, and the other thing I kind of want to comment here is like, yeah, 50%, this and that. Like, yes, you work all this time at work, but there's stuff at home you got to do too. Like the garbage needs to get taken out, sandwiches
Mhm.
need to get made, and things like this. So you got to work when you get back home too. So if you're just like stressed out from work and overworked, like then you start missing things you need to do at home. And it's just like, there's definitely a balance. And until they realize that that balance is part of efficiency, that's when you see like the beanbag chairs and that. And it's a shame, but it kind of takes care of itself. Is that when, if they're noticing, hey, what else can we do? Well, these people are too overworked. Like we need to do something. That's when you start to see some better work life balance. But it's only because it's the bottom line, I think.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's true. Do you guys have any thoughts that you want to add to that out there? Anybody? Anybody maybe interested in like a turkey on rye or like maybe a roast beef?
We can
I
Couple
talk
already
BLT
told
beef
him
condiments
I
too.
wanted
maybe.
a chicken sandwich and that he was rude. He just hasn't seen it yet.
See, okay,
Huh?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Say that again?
Mhm. Mhm.
I said I already told Drac that I wanted a chicken sandwich and he was rude for not asking. He just hasn't seen it yet.
Oh, I
Um.
oh
messaged
no,
him
it,
about
Oh,
pizza after I heard
a
that the
pizza.
conversation was
Okay.
turning to food.
what
I mean,
is what?
I don't want a sandwich. I would rather have pizza.
Oh my god! Oh my
Oh, pizza
god!
would be
I'm
good
sorry to
too.
interrupt your lunch
What?
hour,
I
people. Oh
mean,
my god! I literally just
Virtually
had New York
hungry.
style pizza. Can I just add?
virtually hungry.
Oh my god. I cannot even. Well, I don't know about you, but you know what? This talk of food, maybe we need to kind of build up an appetite. So maybe we need a little exercise to kind of get us hungry here, right? Because I just
Sounds
not
good
getting
to
to this.
me.
And I did just have a New York style pizza, a couple slices of that. So I'm thinking, I got me my sauce. I
Oh,
got me my
so you
Right
did
sauce.
in your
start it.
face.
So what can we
Nice.
do? That's right. That's right. I'm rubbing in all the faces. That is all I'm saying right now. All right, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do about these feet? Can we get some tunes? What's happening here? Johnny, can you put the sandwich down and the lasagna and maybe the lobster and steak and langostino and
His new name
if
is
you can.
Garfield.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
that
gonna
I
say
think
that.
yeah, there you go. Oh, here
Garfield.
it is, guys.
Oh,
Dance
we got
break.
some
Get on
music,
in here.
guys. Come on, join us out on the dance floor. It's dance break
Mm, mm,
time.
mm,
Woo!
mm, 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 mm.
Yeah!
Whoa. Zed, come on
All this
down
talk
here.
about food's gonna
Come
make me
dance with
break
us.
my
Come on, join us, Zed.
Whoa,
Echo,
whoa,
Jim. Woo!
whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, 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 Ow.
Drac must be eating a sandwich. He's not dancing.
Oh, I was actually reaching for some
Oh,
chips.
sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, all right.
Gives me the cramps.
All right. Let's bring it on in, y'all.
I,
Oh,
I have to wait
man.
30 minutes after eating to do VR. Yes.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sorry.
Oh, my God. Oh, lordy, 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 lordy. Oh, my goodness. Okay. So, now let's talk about something kind of sitting down, talking about how the Apple was going to be trying its foray into the robotic cars and has decided it's not going to do that. So they have now
Oh.
come into a new thing that has excited them, which people are like, "What?" So apparently, Apple is setting its sights on home robots, and it is developing one
Hmm.
that right now they said it follows you around the house. It's kind of a mobile robot, but they're calling it one of the next big things, right? And
Hmm.
people are kind of unclear what's going on about that because they said that apparently they sunk so much money into the car thing, and with it not working out, it was basically like $10 billion that they spent on that project that they kind of burned,
Oh,
and they've got nothing
wow.
to show for it. So the engineers, they're
Huh.
all trying to kind of
Yikes.
come up with something to kind of recoup some of those losses, right? So they're saying that they're going to be working in. They're also working in tandem with their AI and machine learning working group because they've got that going on. They're really busting out the AI too. They're really jumping into that, and I think that the Apple bot, as they're kind of calling it, um, they're kind of trying to. They're saying that it's going to be working also on the company's new large language model, and they say that there's one study that says that it can see and understand the context of what it's reading on screens, which is which is a huge step in Terminator 2
Wow.
coming. They're
God.
also saying Apple researchers are also claiming that the company it has something called Realm, RE ALM, which stands for Reference Resolution as Language Modeling. And
Hmm.
that system, they're saying that system of theirs is smarter than OpenAI's GPT-4. So they're really
Ooh.
showing that the company is heading headlong into AI. That's a big part of it, and they're really trying to pivot to all that kind of stuff and see what they can do. Um,
That's cool.
the engineers are also looking into building something called some kind of next generation tabletop device that's going to displays move. I say that the displays of these devices will be moved by robotics. That's it. The robotics will move these displays, but they don't understand how that's going to happen yet. They've just heard they're working on it, but they don't know details. So Apple's
Wow.
really jumping into a lot of different things. They're putting their, their hands in
Exciting.
a lot of different pots here. Yeah.
They are.
Have you guys heard of any of that stuff or anything that they're working
Uh,
on? What do you think of that?
I heard that they had announced that the next Apple conference that's coming up, I think it's June 7th, if I remember right, they
Mhm.
announced that it's going to be all related to AI. So it's exciting to see what it's
Ooh.
going to be. Oh no. Guess we'll
Oh.
find out.
Oh, that would be
Hmm.
nice. Yes. Johnny, have you heard anything about
Yep.
that? And if you need to,
I
take a
have
swallow of milk
not.
or okay, good. All right, yeah.
No, I think with this, I'm just concerned. I feel like these robots are going to be very expensive, A, and B, they're probably going to look
Yeah.
really flashy, which is cool. So I mean, that'd be cool to have one of these in the house. Like, what is the purpose of them? Is it just to help around the house, or? Oh yeah, it says right there. Sorry. Ooh, okay. Uh,
Yeah, but
so
but
my concern is like,
Follows
is
you
it going to be
around the
like?
house for some reason. That's all it says.
It
For
doesn't
some
say it's gonna
reason.
work, but is
Yeah.
it gonna be like,
like a
is it gonna be like when you
companion
run out of
or
space on your phone and they charge you to keep more pictures and you got to sign up? Like, am I only gonna get one dish washed and then to do the pots I have to subscribe to the, like, how is this gonna work here? Because yeah,
I don't know. I think you should be more concerned with the grocery shopping, with all of the different produce and meats and
Oh my
cheeses
god.
and sandwich makings.
I
Um
only deal in
I
frozen food,
Oh, there you go. See, that's the safest way.
unfortunately.
Do you guys have any thoughts? Any of our folks out here? Trey, what are you thinking?
Okay, so the first thing that comes to mind when I'm thinking about this Apple robots around my house is
Mhm.
security. So how
Uh-huh.
secure would that
Oh
be?
yeah.
Because we already got robots like
Yeah.
the Apple Home devices and smart locks and thermostats and smart cameras and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I'm wondering like
What's next?
how secure would that be?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's very
Would
true.
somebody
Yeah.
be
I like
behind
that.
the Apple that robot watching your home and watching everything you do?
Oh yeah, I don't need the
Yeah.
robot
Mm.
watching me. That would
Yeah,
be,
I don't need
yeah.
anyone watching me. That's
Ooh.
creepy though. Even when you think of these alarm companies that have people that can monitor your house and they're like, "Oh, well they don't watch you."
Yeah,
That's bull. There are some
yeah.
people that are not good humans that are going to be checking out and seeing what's
Oh
going
yeah.
on.
You
That
already
just
got
creeps
all
me
these
out.
hackers in the world already that know how to
Mm-hmm.
Oh
hack
yeah.
into systems. So it's a robot. You got actual robot in your home. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
a good,
That's a lot
really good
to
hacker can hack
yeah.
into that robot and be
Yeah.
watching your every move.
Yeah. That's very
Well, they're
true.
already
That's
hacking
very
into
true.
those baby monitors and stuff like that. You're right. That's a valid
Yeah.
point.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
what if they hack into your robot and, I mean, my robot will have the easiest job. Like, hey, all this guy does is eat and go in VR and go on the computer, nothing else. Uh,
They'll hack your robot to like whip that roast beef sandwich right out of your hands.
Yeah.
oh, now we got problems. Yep.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But it's true that you never know what's watching you, and I had to think about that for these past years. I was looking for I have been through probably about 8 or 9 different baby monitors because I was trying to find the right thing to watch my parents when I had to step out of the room or something like that, and or at night when I was sleeping. And I was the thing about it is that it was just really frightening, and there was always something. But I found this really great one that actually does not connect to any Wi-Fi. It literally the camera itself connects to the receiver. It does that. It's amazing. It's internal. So all you do is you plug in the camera and then you pair the receiver to it and then turn on your receiver and then there you go. You've got your video and it's really clear. It's really nice to have. It also has you can talk back and forth and everything. So that has been what I was using for the past couple of years to really amazing results. It's been phenomenal. And I don't have to worry about anyone. I mean, I imagine somebody could hack it, but it's not hacking a Wi-Fi, so it's like not the same type of thing. Um, Anyone else have any thoughts they wanted to share?
I want
Yeah,
Alice
Dee?
from the Jetsons.
Oh,
Um,
me too.
me
Yes.
Oh.
too. Me too.
Oh, I want Alice.
Um,
Yes.
so this thing is gonna follow me around and do my housework. Where do I sign up? I'm sorry.
I don't know really what it's gonna do, to be honest, but yeah, I'd
like,
be kind of intrigued to find out.
Mhm.
I'm
You
just
know.
afraid if it starts like giving me ads and stuff, and I'm like looking at something, and the robot's like, "Hey, you should buy this." Like, I don't need any
It's probably just
encouragement.
gonna play music. It's gonna be like a walking iPod. It's just gonna be playing music wherever you go. Hey, you look really sad
That's kind of
today.
cool.
Let me play you a song to bring up your feelings. I'll be like, no, no.
Something you guys don't know about me is I actually like ads. I like to be shown what I should get from my Facebook, things I view and things like that. I'm really weird like that. I know people hate that
I
and they feel it's an invasion of privacy,
Yeah,
but I'm
that
like,
tracks,
I want
baby.
more good ads, better ads.
I
Yes.
like the
Like I
graphic
don't like
design
YouTube ads,
aspect
but I
of it.
like the
I
graphic
like a good
Yeah.
design
ad
aspect.
too.
Yeah.
I like them when they're funny. I like them when they make me laugh or they're a little crazy. Do you
Hmm.
actually are you the type of person that when it says, "Is this ad relevant to you? Do you not like this ad?" Do you really click those boxes to let them know more of what you want to see?
Oh yes, I say never show me this again, and it actually kind of listens to me and it shows me more of the things I like. Yeah. Don't judge me. Don't judge
Oh,
me.
oh my God. Okay.
I will at least tell you that I don't click on the ads when I buy something. I open up another browser and I go to the page. But
Good. That's what
I
I do too.
still
Okay, good,
buy
good.
things. Okay. Yeah.
But isn't that
Well,
bad for the ad people? Aren't they
I
supposed to like know like, hey, I bought this because of the ad?
in that
Or
case,
are
I
you
got an
disrupting them?
island on the south of France I want to sell you. Faye, let's talk about that later.
All
Oh
right,
Is
no.
there
I'll be
good
here.
restaurants there?
Yeah, and they serve chicken sandwiches, Johnny, just for you.
Extra mayo,
Oh
please.
my god.
Oh
oh my
no.
goodness.
All right, so now the next slide we have up here. Can we put that next one up here? Yeah, this one's very
Oh,
important. Hang on for just a second.
Henry
Hang on.
Cavill.
No, hang on. Um,
But
okay. So the truth is, there is no story. I don't have a story. I just wanted to see the slide. I'm sorry.
oh, I thought you were
That's it.
announcing he was coming back to
Nope.
The Witcher. I could.
No, he's not.
Oh.
No. I just had
Okay,
to look at
okay.
him. My
Dang
God, I
it.
just got to look at that beautiful, freaking amazing, perfect
He
specimen.
needs
Okay,
to come
I'm
back to
good.
The
Next
Witcher.
slide, please.
Okay.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, there's no story there. Sorry, I just wanted to look at him. Okay,
Hmm.
so
very nice
guys,
sword the man has.
yeah, I'll bet. And, oh, sorry. Yeah, oh, he's holding one of
Oh,
the.
I guess I walked into that one. Sorry. Did not mean it that way.
Oh,
Oh
sure. I
dear.
don't know what you mean. I sure don't know what you
I'm
mean.
just gonna eat my sandwich over here.
Although I will say I'm a sword woman, and I don't mean that in that sense that I actually love swords and knives, and I have my own collections of them. And I will tell the cute story that a guy who asked me out, he was probably asking me out in like September, no, oh no, wait, December, January, February. In February, I think he asked me out, right? And not, back in the day, and it was one of my dance, and he had asked me out in February, and he was a little shy about it, so he had his boss kind of feel it out and see if I was interested, because we all worked, in the same industry, and so anyway, he went ahead and asked me out. We went out and we started dating, and it was probably, I don't know, probably my birthday's in April, right? So my birthday's coming up this Thursday, and when my birthday came up, he remember he asked me out in February, so my birthday comes up in April, and we decided we're gonna be exclusive and all that. And oh my God, he gave me, along with a couple of other things, he gave me this incredible sword that he had made for me,
What?
because I'm not a flowers kind of gal. I love flowers, but you know what?
That's
Let me put you
awesome.
this way. A guy I dated in college gave me a butterfly knife, and I was loving him. I'm like, "Thank you. You're the perfect man." And so he goes and he has this sword made for me, and he had the sword made 6 months in advance. He said he
Whoa.
knew he was going to be dating me. And so he had that sword made 6
Whoa.
months before he even asked me out, which was
Whoa.
amazing. Oh, he
Wow.
Wow.
was oh, yeah. So let me tell you, I was
That's
like,
amazing.
"Oh my god." I'm like, "Okay, just kidding now. You're the perfect man." So anyway, but yeah, and then I got like nunchucks with a teddy bear that had diamond earrings in it, so I got a little my birthstone too. I got a little the bling bling. So
Aw.
anyway, that's what I'm saying. I love that stuff. I love my weapons. But anyway, okay, moving on. Sorry guys. Sharing too much. Okay. So let's talk about this type of thing. So you know how the AI music and all that stuff's coming around, the AI art and everything, and it's they've got to use all of the stuff that exists now, and that's what they train their AI models on and everything. Okay, so a
Mhm.
lot of the industry groups have now thrown their support behind this new bill that's been introduced in the House of Representatives. And it's Representative Adam Schiff has put this up,
Excuse me.
and it's going to require developers of generative AI technology to disclose the use of any copyrighted materials in training their algorithms. And
Mm.
this is a big deal because it was introduced on the 9th, actually. Yeah, it was introduced, yeah, last week in the House, and it's going to require anyone who creates or alters a data set that's used for AI training to send a notice to the Registrar of Copyrights that includes a detailed summary of any of the copyrighted work that's used. It's going to have to be filed within at least 30 days before the AI technology that's trained on that particular data set is made available to the public, and it's going to retroactively apply to previous AI systems, which is just incredible. And he had a quote which I'll read. He said, Adam Schiff, he said, AI has the disruptive potential of changing our economy, our political system, and our day-to-day lives. We must balance the immense potential of AI with the crucial need for ethical guidelines and protections. Now, this
Mm.
bill has the backing of everybody: recording industry, film industry, songwriters associations, human artistry campaign, even SAG and AFTRA unions, Directors Guild, Writers Guild. I mean, it has everybody backing it. So it is pretty much that this has to happen. It's got everybody
It
behind it.
sounds like it's gonna pass. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm
When
and
does
I'm
it come
glad.
up for vote?
I'm glad.
Does it say?
I'm not sure when that's going to be coming up because, I mean, obviously they'll have something on that when it happens, but
Mhm.
there are just so many court cases that are ongoing right now with all this kind of stuff, right? And so I
Mhm.
think this is incredible that they're actually taking this, this thing to heart. So, what are you guys thinking
Yeah.
about that? I mean, Johnny, you use a lot of music for your DJing and stuff. How are you feeling about all that?
Oh, it's tough. This kind of reminds me of the days of like when with samplers. I'm a big fan of samplers, and what a sampler is basically you pipe in audio, and you make like a lot of your lo-fi hip hop beats are samples of old jazz and things like that. So basically, you're taking, a record of an old jazz artist and then kind of dropping some snares and drums and everything there and making a lo-fi hip hop beat. Now, it goes into like, well, how much of the note, what kind of the chord progression, how much is too much to say that you're taking somebody's intellectual. And then so when you're talking about this, it's like, Well, they have to learn somehow. So I just think that we're either going to get a bunch of royalty-free sounding AI music, which is just going to keep,
Hmm.
it's going to be like a lot of YouTube stuff, or people are
Hmm.
just going to say, all right, just go ahead and use my stuff, whatever. I don't think they're going to be all for it, but is there monetization involved with this? And it's very interesting because if you look at the way we consume music today, there's a lot of people don't listen to the radio anymore. I do when I go out to grill and stuff. I'll listen. Gosh, again with the food.
When I go out to
Sorry.
grill,
When I go
did
out
you
to
hear that?
grill, I listen to music and I listen to the radio, and I like it. It's peaceful. But when I'm doing music, other like how I consume my music is I go to Spotify and I kind of put what I want. I make my own radio station, and I think maybe this will
Hmm.
evolve into people saying, "Hey, I want a lo-fi hip hop beat with lyrics about eating a sandwich, and you're making your own music, and maybe everyone's going to make their own music someday,
Yeah.
and it'll be based on what they feel. And
Yeah.
maybe there'll be a couple of hits, but right now, like when you hear music, it's through social media, and you're like, I like that song. I don't think there's many people listening to the radio these days unless they're in the car,
Mhm.
but how do we even listen to
Yeah.
like the next top, single that's out there?
Hmm.
It's social media.
Yeah.
We're consuming it in a different way.
I mean, I love my Sirius XM. I've had that for years, and granted, all the stations on there, I do not want a ton of them, and I don't even bother. But I have my favorites. But I mean, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, that does make sense. It does make sense. Now, Faye, what are your thoughts on that? How do you like to
I
listen
don't
to your
have
music
very
now?
many thoughts, but I'd like to hear Lee's thoughts. Oh, and he's bouncing up and down.
Hmm.
Good. That's what I was hoping for. Lee has been making digital music here in Banter a lot lately. What are your thoughts on
Oh,
this?
Yeah, I've just been really playing with it. I think it's a good tool, but yes, I do think that people will want to kind of make music according to the way they feel, um,
Yeah.
and it could be therapeutic. Um,
yeah.
and I think it's a good tool to write songs. If you write songs, you see what they sound like. You can put it in another key. You could add delay, reverb, whatever, and
Hmm.
and just see how it would sound before, and then just re-record it. But yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think it's a good tool.
Well, I like,
Definitely.
and I like what they like like when Dee and I have been talking about the AI that you can use for that because as you know, Faye, just the other day
You've been
I've
writing
I've
songs too.
I've been writing some
Hmm.
songs that you've heard. I've played for you. And I
Beautiful.
don't, I can't sit and write the music down and everything. And I can't get up there and get the recording equipment. I can't afford all that and stuff. So what I do, I mean, I'll write my lyrics and then I stick it in and then it generates music for me, and then it generates a vocalist or whatever. And it's not exactly perfect, but it does the job. I mean, the one you just heard the other day, you heard that
Hmm.
one I felt pretty good about. And I played it for a friend of mine, and she cried. So I mean, it had, it really still you still have the ability to touch people through that, and I think it's great because people who you can reach somebody with something, and if you don't have the avenues with which to do that, it's kind of frustrating in a way. But now, when there are more of these things with AI and more of these things coming out, the digital age and the way we're using and consuming music and everything like that, I think that it's something where this is an important thing. And I think a bill like this is important because here's the thing, I think people do need to be recognized for their efforts and for what they've done. And here's the thing, people always say, oh, uh, what is it? Imitation is the best form of flattery. Well, I don't believe that because I think sometimes that's not true. I think sometimes imitation is not flattering at all. I think that it just depends on the situation. And there are so many people in this world, they get inspired by someone and then they do some things and they have their songs or whatever they're working on. But there are also a lot of people you see that people are getting sued. What was it? Blurred Lines or whatever, how they were getting sued
Right.
because of the beat in that. So
Hmm.
sometimes it's not about flattery, it's just about stealing someone's idea or what they do. So I mean, there's always a fine line,
Hmm.
and I guess people have to see how they see that. But I'm glad to see there's legislation that is moving towards protecting that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
but guys, listen,
Oh
I
yeah.
wanted to say we are at the end here, and I want to thank you guys for coming. And again, go out there and have a wonderful week. Make sure that you look in the mirror and remind yourself how incredible you are. find one good thing about yourselves to say to yourself this week in the mirror and keep thinking about it. And also get out there and help whoever you can. There are people out there who are hurting and do not ask for help either because they can't, they don't know how, or they're afraid to or uncomfortable. But you know what? If you see they're hurting, help them, be there for them, do what you can, and look for people that need help. Have a wonderful week. And folks, my lovely friends and co hosts, what do you have to say?
Oh, well, thank you for coming, and we'll be here at the same time, same place every week. Come join us for Virtually Live.
And
Okay.
thank you for coming. And please send me your food pics. My Discord is Dracula's X.
I knew it.
And
I was waiting.
thank you for coming
Oh
very
gosh,
much.
I love it. Oh my gosh. Thanks, guys. Let's go sing some karaoke. Karaoke. Everybody.